Guten Morgen.
We're so excited to be here. Brandon's been practicing his German because in Switzerland they don't have just one official language, they have multiple official languages. What is it? Italian, German,
French, since it borders all those, and then I believe one like archaic language too that's less common.
Very interesting. It is beyond glorious. Even that seems like an understatement. It is so insanely beautiful. We arrived yesterday afternoon and have been getting oriented with this cozy village that we're staying in. We're in Lauterbrunnen and we're at Hotel Stabak. It's right by Stabak Falls, right out of our hotel is this gorgeous view. It's remarkable. So we're very, very thankful. Yesterday we just strolled around, kind of settled in. We went to a little gift shop and we got our son a Swiss Army knife because Brandon actually traveled to Switzerland. How old were you?
Maybe 10 or so.
When he was around 10, and he got a Swiss Army knife, so we got one for our son.
Still
Obviously, he's not going to have it
pretty regularly.
He's a baby, but when he's older, it can be like a sentimental gift to give to him. But that was really cute. And then we had a phenomenal meal, a fondue. What was the potato dish called?
Roasty. R-O-S-T-I. With some accents. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a giant potato pancake, almost like a hash brown with cheese and some good like vegetables, and then the one we got, I think, was a traditional one with bacon and egg too. It was hearty. It was really good.
Delicious. The fondue was absolutely the highlight though.
For sure.
It's just, oh my goodness, scrumptious. So that was lovely. And then this morning we just had breakfast at our hotel, and now we have a whole day of exploring outside. And I just have been daydreaming of putting a picnic blanket out in one of the little meadows or fields and just soaking it all in, and it's going to be a beautiful day. I wanted to catch you up a bit on our journey over to Switzerland from Milan. It was about a almost 4-hour travel day from Italy. We took 3 separate train rides, each lasting about an hour. They were quite beautiful though, and we caught some rest in between switching trains and whatnot. And as soon as we entered into Switzerland, I mean, Italy is gorgeous. We adore Italy, but seeing the Swiss Alps in person truly took my breath away, and just getting peeks of these Swiss villages through the train window was just surreal. And we actually exited the train at the wrong time. There are 2 different Interlaken train stations, so if you end up traveling here, just be mindful that you get off at the right Interlaken train station. But as soon as we were just on the ground in Switzerland, again, I couldn't believe my eyes. It just was absolutely beautiful. And when we rolled into Lauterbrunnen Valley and seeing the Stabak Falls just from the window, it truly seemed like something out of a fairy tale. We were quite hungry at this point and could use a little cappuccino pick-me-up. So we stopped at this cafe called Flavors. We ended up coming here multiple times throughout our stay, and it's quite lovely. They have a little kids' play space, book swapping, cutest high chair, delicious chocolate muffin, lattes, and a yummy salad with fruit and sprouts. It was delectable. So that was a good little pick-me-up. And then we went to Betty's Corn Dogs, which so fun. This is such a great concept. Essentially, they have the corn dogs with the local Swiss goods, including raclette cheese. So that was really fun. And you can kind of choose your own adventure for the corn dog and get flamin' hot Cheetos on the outside or crispy potatoes and a bunch of different sauce options. So our bellies were already happy, and then we went over to our hotel to check in. We stayed at Hotel Stabak, and it was very homey and cozy. As soon as we checked in, they gave us some elderflower water as our welcome beverage, and I was giddy about this because The prior week, I had just started making elderflower syrup from our garden, so it felt really special and serendipitous that this was a drink that we were enjoying in the Swiss Alps as well. Once we settled in a bit, we started exploring. There's a beautiful church directly next to our hotel, so we roamed in, took in all of the beautiful details and calming atmosphere, and then we continued to walk along the river. The destination that we had our sights on was Trumbullbach Falls, and there were a few different ways to get to Trumbullbach Falls, but I am so thankful we decided to walk. It was about a 40-minute walk, but I mean, it took a lot longer because we just kept stopping and admiring the views. And seemingly every few feet that we walked, we would come across a new vantage point or something special that was yearning to be admired. Lauterbrunnen Valley is often called the village of 72 waterfalls because in total, they have 72 waterfalls that cascade off of the rocks. So you have these gorgeous waterfalls sprinkled throughout the valley, and it was fun to sort of play the game of trying to spot as many as we could. Another one of my favorite fun facts about this beautiful place is that J.R.R. Tolkien, who is the author of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, was inspired by this exact valley when he was hiking through Switzerland in 1911. It kind of was fun to try to make those parallels of what he could have been inspired by, which there really is so much beautiful imagery to play with. The shirt's coming off. He got a little too toasty. This is the cutest vending machine ever. And here you have some fresh farm goods instead of your standard stuff. Wow. Cheese vending machine. We then arrived at Trumbullbach Falls, which is Europe's largest subterranean waterfalls, and it's actually the world's only glacier waterfalls that are accessible through different tunnels and platforms, so it felt very unique and special that we were able to witness this. And something to note, no babies are allowed in Trumbullbach Falls just because it is insanely loud and it's pretty chilly. So they just have that as a rule because they don't want any babies to be uncomfortable. So Brandon and I ended up switching off. They also have a little cafe and gift shop at the base. So there's plenty of space to kind of relax, which felt nice after our walk anyways. Did some shopping while Dad is up at the waterfall. Found this adorable little dog plushie. So sweet. He's so playful. They have water fountains like this around the city where you can fill up your bottles. is the mountain village Mürren, and to access it, you must take the cable car up because it is quite a ways up the mountain. So we walked over to the cable car station, and this flight up the mountain was amazing. The views were insane, and thankfully I'm not one to be too spooked by heights, but wow, at some points I was definitely holding my breath and squeezing my husband's hand because we were really scaling up that mountain. But I'm so glad we did because Mürren was delightful. It was very, very quiet when we went, but we enjoyed a beautiful meal at this restaurant. As soon as you get off the cable car, we stumbled upon this gorgeous restaurant with a phenomenal view, and we had some beautiful alpine cheese, a lovely soup of the day. I'm blanking at what it was. I think it was carrot ginger. Really nice. And then a salad with some kiwi in it too. So yummy fuel for us to continue to explore the adorable alpine village. We spotted some snow. It's about 10 degrees colder up here. Another water fountain. These are so neat. I give Brandon a hard time because every time he sees a water fountain, he just like instantly wants to fill up our water bottle, even if they're 99% full.
You gotta drink it. Fill it up and it's amazing. I'll just drink straight from this one.
Don't get the baby wet. It's drizzling a tiny bit in the sunshine. Yeah, this is so beautiful. It's so peaceful right now here in this little mountain village. It's very, very lovely. It's almost like a ghost town.
Yeah, I wonder. Looks like there's store windows saying they open back up in the middle of May or something. Yeah. So probably just a couple weeks. It'll look a little different.
Baby's sleeping. That's one thing about traveling with a baby. He's been doing amazing and it's been so much fun. But sleep, you know, you gotta sleep on the go, and he has FOMO now. He wants to know what's going on at all times. So Dad got him to sleep. Way to go, Dad.
What's going on?
We then took the cable car back down the base of the mountain and then took a bus over to Interlaken. Or did we take a bus and then a train over to Interlaken? I think that's what we did. We had a little bit of a journey, but thankfully it wasn't too far away. And I'm glad we took the time to explore Interlaken at least a little bit. This is certainly a popular place to have as your base, and it's much more city-like, a lot more touristy spots as well. But one thing that really left its mark on me in Interlaken were the garden beds. Whoever is in charge of the garden committee or the city beautification committee in Interlaken is doing a phenomenal job, because there were tulips and blooms everywhere and I just was eating it up. It was fabulous. Speaking of eating it up, one of our main reasons of coming to Interlaken was we wanted to go to a chocolate shop and just have our fair share of chocolate for dessert, or should I say a pre-dessert, because we just sat down in a grassy area and started diving into this chocolate that we picked up from the Swiss chocolate chalet. It was delectable. And then we ended up eating at Aslani's Corner, which this is a highly coveted restaurant. We usually don't have restaurants in mind beforehand. We just check to see which ones are the most highly rated. We came back to the hotel a little later than usual, which was neat because we got to see Staubach Falls lit up at night. Good morning. It is another glorious day here in Switzerland. Originally, we were gonna spend the day traveling to Zermatt to do a day trip to see the Matterhorn, which is still on our list. That is on our list before we leave Switzerland. But our body, minds, and souls needed a rest day. We really have been go, go, go since we arrived in Europe, which we had wiggle room if we like really, really felt the jet lag, but we felt pretty good so far. But today we wanted to slow down a bit and explore Lauterbrunnen Valley more, because this place truly just is so peaceful and beautiful. I keep saying it reminds me of Psalm 23, still waters, green pastures, just so much goodness. And we just both like really feel the desire to stay put today and soak it up. We may do a little small mini excursion on the train to a nearby town called Wengen, but we'll just again see how the day goes. We have some yummy coffee scoped out, some yummy food scoped out, so it's gonna be a beautiful day. What was your favorite part of yesterday, Brandon? We love to do like a daily recap, and yesterday was so full. I'm trying to think what my favorite part of the day was. I'm like trying to think of everything we did yesterday. We did so much. I know what comes to mind though.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first. I'm curious.
Just the walk to all the way to Scheckelberg, I believe it was called, before we took the cable car up to Mürren. But it was like a 40-minute walk to Trommelbach Falls, and then like a 30-minute walk to the cable car in Scheckelberg from there. And just like every time you turned a little corner or a new opening, you're just like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
this is unbelievable.
It was so beautiful. And yeah, I echo everything you said. That was my favorite part too. But it's pretty amazing how just those simple moments can become your favorite, because that wasn't even like the biggest excursion of our day, but it was the best. So I'm hoping for a lot more of that today. We enjoyed breakfast every morning at our hotel, but then around mid-morning, we were ready for another little boost of coffee, or caffeine, I should say. And so we found this really cute coffee cart. It's the Staubach coffee cart at the base of Staubach Falls, and we grabbed ourselves a latte. Brandon had a doppio, and it was just the most beautiful place to enjoy a cup of coffee. And then this playground was just adjacent to where we were enjoying our coffee, so we decided to explore it for a bit. Our baby is still quite young for a playground, but we personally have been enjoying the excuse for us to play at the playground again. It truly was such a surreal scenery to do the seesaw, and just we had our fair share of giggles.
Why are you going down all the way? Little resistance at the end. We'll get to the end. Little resistance.
We also spotted this sundial on the opposite side of the church in the village. So that was neat to kind of take a look at, because I haven't seen one of those in quite some time.
I just wanna go out and walk with you. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you.
Hydrate.
You don't have to tell me anything.
Then it was time for round 2 at Betty J's Corn Dogs.
Alright, what did you get?
We got a raclette with potato fries, and then spicy mayo, hot chili, and mustard. There we go.
Alright. That was quite the crunch. Did you get any cheese? When I bit into it the other day, we got one the other day with the local sausage, and my first bite was no sausage. The coating was pretty deep. Yeah, the fries is good meal. The cheese. Alright, we have an update to share the stringiness. There it is.
We've had a glorious slow day in Switzerland so far. Just took a little power nap back at the hotel. Baby boy slept for an hour and a half, which was great because we've just been carrying him around for most of his naps, but he's getting heavy. I feel like he's gained multiple pounds this trip so far. So it was nice just to sort of take it easy in the room for a bit. And now it's about 4 o'clock, almost 4 o'clock. So we have a couple hours before we want to try to eat dinner. We want to try to do an early dinner and then hit the hay a little bit earlier as well to just go in theme with our slower day. So Brandon's checking if they have availability for 6, and then we'll kind of meander our way through the valley until then and maybe take a train ride over to Wengen. It's only an 11-minute train ride, so we'll see if we're up. Brandon just said he's pretty sure that Wengen is just up there on the mountaintop. The problem is we just keep saying we don't think we could love any place more than we love Lauterbrunnen, so I think we're stuck. And we leave tomorrow, so we're just like truly soaking in every second here. We enjoyed ourselves another fondue dinner, and we talked to the locals and they said that in Switzerland, fondue, of course, is a beautiful meal that they love to enjoy, but typically they enjoy it exclusively in winter time, not so much in the spring and summer, but of course they indulge the tourists in it all year round. And at least in the States, we also think of fondue as chocolate fondue, and that isn't quite as common. Even though Switzerland, of course, is known for their delectable chocolate, they don't really have as many places that offer chocolate fondue. It's really just the cheese fondue, but then oftentimes they have other chocolate desserts on the menu. So that was something interesting. But then some restaurants too have added some chocolate fondue to their menu as well. But we enjoyed a lovely meal and a walk on the other side of the valley that we didn't really explore very much. And we saw this really cool camping area. They had some cabins, and then they also had actual physical campsites. So if you wanted to have a more salt of the earth experience, that's another great option. The next morning, we finally decided to make our way over to Wengen, which I'm glad we did because the train ride alone was worth the journey. Again, it was only 11 minutes, so not a big travel excursion whatsoever, but it takes you up along the valley and you're able to see a really bird's eye, beautiful view of Lauterbrunnen Valley. So again, that was worth it in and of itself, and you get some other vantage points and perspectives of the mountains. And when we went, it was really quiet. It was early morning and still off season a bit, but this lovely bakery was open, so we grabbed a pistachio croissant roll and another sort of chocolate yummy shortbread-esque cookie. And we continued to explore, and another great find was this gift shop. They had so many handmade Swiss items, which that's what I'm always gravitated towards when it comes to picking up souvenirs. So very glad we stopped in here, and I'm still kicking myself for not purchasing one of these Swiss handmade fondue pots. cute the key to our room is. You know this place has history with a key like that. We are dragging our feet, leaving Lauterbrunnen. It's so glorious. I think we've said that enough, but it's time for our next stop. I'm very thankful we went up to Wengen today because solely for the train ride, that was worth it. And then that souvenir shop, we found some treasures to take home. So that was wonderful. And yeah, we're making our trek to Lucerne in about 30 minutes. So it's how long of a train ride?
Like 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. So yesterday it was really nice. Like, I do enjoy traveling by train immensely, but it was nice to just not take a train for the day. We were just staying put and wandering around. So for me, that was probably my highlight of the trip, just like this, or so far, is just like our slow Switzerland day.
Yesterday you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. Or the day before was really fun.
The day before, I think, resting was really good for us, but on the, what you mentioned, just the long walk and Trommelbach Falls and just every little corner or turn, there's something new or something. Wow.
It just, yeah, in this town in general, I love how peaceful it is. It feels very homey and just salt of the earth, really.
Yeah, less touristy than Milan.
Of course, they have tourist spots, but
cities we've been to.
Well, thank you so much for watching Switzerland Part 1, and we'll see you in Lucerne very soon.
Soon.
Bye.